The pacing is not great, but aside from that, the Hot Air Salesman is actually a pretty decent cartoon. This is a Betty Boop cartoon from 1937. It's directed by Dave Fleischer and Thomas Johnson, with a voice cast including Jack Mercer as Wiffle Piffle and May Questel as Betty Boop. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is my introduction to Wiffle Piffle. I don't remember having seen the character before. At least I don't recognise the name. And he is the salesman of the title. And he spends half of the 6-minute cartoon going door to door. It does take him half of the cartoon to get into Betty Boop's house. And I feel like that was a tremendous waste of time. Because the real fun in this comes from the things he's selling. We have all kinds of, well, a small selection of creative, strange, peculiar gadgets that he is trying to sell door to door. And I don't want to give anything away by explaining them in any detail, because that is, for me at least, the part that was interesting, of wondering what gadget he's going to try and sell Betty Boop next. And the fact they wasted half of the cartoon setting up just to get Wiffle Piffle into Betty Boop's house is just a tremendous waste of time. They could have done so much more with the things he was trying to sell. So the pacing is terrible, but the second half of the cartoon is really good. Very creative, very well done. The pacing there, by which I mean the amount of time we spend on each gadget, is actually pretty decent. I think they did a good job with that. It's just a shame we didn't get there sooner, so we could have had more of that creativity. I like the design of Wiffle Piffle. I think the character looks pretty great, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in more. I did a quick Google, and he seems to be in a decent handful of Betty Boop cartoons. None of the titles I recognise, but if I have seen Wiffle Piffle before, it would have been quite a long time ago, before I started to review Betty Boop on a weekly basis. My memory isn't great, not great at all, so I apologise if I'm just completely mistaken there, but I'm considering this my introduction to Wiffle Piffle, and yes, the name is tremendous fun to say. I thoroughly recommend saying it, and the character design is really great. Obviously, Betty Boop looked fantastic as well, and I won't say how she responds to Wiffle Piffle, but I found it to be very entertaining. So it is literally a cartoon of two halves. Not in terms of the animation quality is consistently good throughout, but in terms of the actual narrative, the first half is just so dull and basically doesn't offer anything, in my opinion. And then the second half is brilliant, really exciting, creative, really well done. So it's a shame they didn't get to that point sooner, because we could have had even more out of this one. But that being said, I do recommend it. The Hot Air Salesman may not be perfect, but it's still an entertainment.